I'm Nicole Jones, host of Mediocre to Masterful, a podcast teaching you how to go after your goals that you've pushed to the side. This is a resource to help you be fearless with your goals and familiar with the feeling of success. This podcast includes best practices to elevate your goals in multiple areas to help you pursue mastery over your life.
I am here with Nicole Murray-Fink, a former project manager for leading corporations turned traveling lifestyle photographer based in Atlanta. Her work captures everyday beauty near and far. One of my favorite collections of hers is the Morocco shoot. I just love thumbing through those, and I actually need to order some prints from there.
She does.
And she recently opened an Etsy market selling some of those most requested images of her collection. Her work continues to prove itself as a gallery full of wanderlust and natural beauty. Nikki, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me. This is very exciting.
I feel
honored.
So excited to have you on the show, and Nikki and I have known each other for quite some time.
That's right.
Kindred spirits of inspiration and motivation and creativity.
Yes, definitely.
And I'm sure by now, from listening to all the podcasts, I'm sure the audience can tell that I have been very strategic on who I place onto this show, and that the goals and discussions that I have on here all align to how to plan, how to be your best self in terms of following your goals and making sure you're actively doing that, and that the people on that I have on the show are actually basically catalysts to help people in whatever industry, whatever goal that you have, to kind of give you an idea of where you should go on your plan. And today's topic is create the life that you want. I believe this conversation will hit home with a lot of people. One of the reasons for me creating this is so people could get out of their funk, and they sometimes feel like they're somewhat in a plateau and they have reached a stagnant situation where they don't know where to go from here.
I think we've all been there.
Oh, yes. At one point in time, I don't think there's anybody that can say that they have not felt that way in some point in their lives. So, and they, you always hear, I really want to do X in terms of their goals, insert whatever X is. And because of that, it makes me feel happy to know that I can have these conversations with you and the other guests, and just some of the solo episodes to just talk about better ways and best practices to move out of that funk and basically achieve the goals that you want to achieve. So,
all right.
Nikki, you are a great example of someone who took a step back, evaluated your life, and made adjustments where necessary in terms of creating the life that you want. Let's begin on how did you get into project management?
Well, honestly, I fell into project management. I feel like it was a means to an end. I was living in Florida, but I wanted to get back. I needed to get back to Atlanta. My then fiance, now husband, was in Atlanta, and we were getting married, and it was just pretty much down to the wire. I had 3 open jobs, and I was waiting to hear back from them. And the first one I got was for this project management role. And at that time, I was just ready. I was like, I need to get out of Florida. I need to be in Atlanta. I'm 2 months out from my wedding. Let me just do it.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's so nerve-wracking. I had butterflies in my stomach.
The pressure was on. It was just oh my goodness. While I was living in Florida, it was just nonstop, just looking for jobs, going back to Atlanta, planning a wedding. So it was just this job came up, and I was like, okay, I'm capable of doing it. Let me just do that. And it's in a matter of months of being there, starting that job as a project manager, I was like, ooh, this was not the right decision for me, at all. And it's that was a huge lesson for me. Making a decision based off of emotion, based off of desperation. Yeah. I should have been more patient. I had 2 jobs that I was waiting to hear back from. It was just I just took that first one. So it's
you were let me just land this as I make this transition.
Yeah. So, I think I knew quickly, which was good. I knew quickly that it wasn't the right thing. And from that, I was able to say, I won't make a decision like that ever again. You know, I'm going to make decisions that move me to where I want to be rather than further away. Because I'm going to be honest, project management, though I found success in it, it was not moving me closer to what I wanted to do.
Gotcha.
So, it was an accident. I fell into project management.
No, I think that's really important to highlight, because we go into life, you know, right after school, you're about to get married at this point, and you are thinking, you know, this is a means of income. This is a means of, you know, stability for our family.
It was a way to get together, so we wouldn't be apart anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, like, in school, I studied engineering, so in my mind, it was like, I'm going to do something technical. You know, and ultimately, like, my goal, and it's going to sound pretty shallow, my goal was just to have a job downtown in a tower. So in that sense, what I got taking that project management role, it was a job downtown in a tower. So check.
Yep.
But outside everything else, it did not move me closer to where I wanted to be.
Yeah. So it sounds like you made this decision. You were able to check off that box.
I got my tower.
Downtown tower.
I felt big and bossy.
But then something basically shifted in your plan, and you're like, okay, there's a new direction here. And typically, when you have those feelings, it's basically life is sending us little messages and basically nudges us in a different direction. When did you first have that inkling to consider other options outside of project management?
My goodness. Like I said, I was able to do it. I knew it was something that I was relatively good at, but it just didn't fulfill me. I don't know if it was project management or if it was the industry. I just felt empty and I felt underutilized, and every time I walked through those doors, I didn't feel like I was giving my best. I felt like there was always more that I could give, but I wasn't really sure where to channel it. And I took opportunities as they became available. For example, with my clients, I think why they enjoyed having me as their project manager was that I was willing to do stuff that project managers did not do. I was willing to go in and test. I was willing to go in and help them with requirement sessions and like actually writing them. And, you know, I was willing to do other tasks outside of the traditional PM role. And because of that, I felt more fulfilled those days rather than leading a meeting. Like, you know, I was able to do that, or I got involved with the little subcommittees that we had for our team with what was it called? What was the name of the group? Well, it was like the social event place.
The social events committee.
The social committee. So I got super involved in the social committee and like organizing things, events that would make me feel better. And I figured, well, if it makes me feel good, I'm sure it's making somebody else feel good. Remember our popcorn days?
Yes. Yes.
I think the best part was when we went to go and taste. Like, maybe you didn't go with us.
I think I did. Or we went downstairs and basically had to find different options. And
yeah, we tasted all the popcorn. We're like, yes, we need these four flavors right here for popcorn day. Like, so it was just like little things where I could channel my energy to feel a little bit better in that role. But from the very beginning, just something didn't feel right. It did not feel good. It didn't feel like a place where I wanted to get like settle into and like, you know, so from the get-go, I think I was ready to move on and get back more to what I would consider my roots of like something more technical, something that would challenge my mind in a different way.
Yes.
I will never make a decision out of desperation ever again.
Yeah.
God has taught me to be patient.
Yes. Take a step back, take a moment to breathe and actually think through what it is that you really find passion about, feel fulfilled about.
Right. Right. And move towards that.
Yes.
In any way that you can.
Yes, because otherwise it will feel like friction. It will feel like
that struggle. That's really what it feels like. It's just like that internal struggle, and you're fighting something, and you know it's wrong, but you gotta have to do it now because you signed up for it. But
oh yeah. Now I have to commit, basically.
Yeah.
Did you fight the idea of leaving corporate once you had that inkling?
I think so. My parents, they kind of instilled in me and my sister, you know, you need to be able to take care of yourself. And I wholeheartedly believe in that. You know, I wanted to be able to provide and take care of myself. You know, I didn't need a husband. I didn't need a boyfriend. I didn't need anybody, my mom, my dad, anybody. I could take care of myself all by myself. And that was important to me. And leaving corporate America to pursue, and as I move my hands around
wailing in the air,
you know, like whatever that creative thing is, to me, like it would be a fun, I like the idea of it, I was enticed by the idea, but at the same time it's just like
it's
having to rely on somebody else to care for me as I try to do that thing, like that did not sit well with me at all.
What was the breaking point for you that finally made you say, I need to begin to create the life I want?
There's so many things. Like I feel like I had so many signs along the way, you know.
Usually how it happens.
So many signs. It's like, you know, I finally got to the point where I was tired of crying myself to sleep. I was tired of crying to my husband. I was tired of crying to my mom and getting my pep talk every single morning. I kid you not. Every single morning I would hit the parking deck. I would park my car and I would call my mom, and she would talk me through the day and talk me getting through the door and going up the elevator. You know, it's just like, it was bad. I was starting to develop ulcers. I was having like this weird stuff going on with my heart. Like,
oh my gosh.
Which I now realize the heart stuff was more likely like anxiety attacks, because in my mind, I saw my life as kind of over. Like my career was over, and like I'll admit I was very, and I still kind of am. I was very obsessed with my career and how I wanted it to go and my expectations of it. So I had a lot of pressure that I put on myself, and it was from nobody else. Like honestly, it wasn't from my parents, it wasn't from my husband, nobody else. It was all me, the pressure I put on me. And so, you know, I just got tired, really tired of just feeling this way. I wasn't myself. I was a ball of nerves. Like everybody would walk on eggshells because anything would set me off. I would either lash out in anger because I was so frustrated, or I would just break down crying. So I think really what did it for me was when I took a leave of absence, which everybody was like, this is career suicide. And I was like, I have no career.
Career suicide?
Yes, career suicide. And I was like, look, my career here is not my career. Like, this is not my end-all be-all. I need to take a break and, you know, see if I can come back refreshed and maybe turn this thing around for me. You know, so fortunately, David, he travels sometimes for his work, and he was going to be gone for 2 months in Croatia. So I thought, you know what? I like Croatia. I was there a couple of years before. I enjoyed it. You know, I might as well go out there for a month, take a break, have some me time, you know, and maybe come up with like a plan for what I can do or how I can turn this around. So that was like the best time. I really did need that. And I went out there, I had a camera, I had my little travel blog that I was doing, so my family and all my beautiful coworkers could keep up with me and my adventures, because we did have some adventures out there. And we traveled. I mean, it was amazing. Like, I needed that break. And I thought I was going to be, like, strategizing, like, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and it's like, no, actually, I just kind of woke up each day and I did what felt good for me. And so I remember coming back and thinking, okay, I've had this month off. I've been able to breathe. I've been able to like be myself essentially.
Yeah.
And I feel good. And so I came back and I had my first day. I mean, there was all sorts of drama the first day of it went back. Like, my boss had changed while I was gone.
Oh my God, the complete transition.
It was like my 6th boss of the year, and so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to let that bother me. I'm going to be good still. You know, I was intentional, very intentional about, I'm not going to blow this thing up. I'm going to do my best to focus on getting through this day because I'm better now.
Yep.
And then I just remember sitting in this meeting and I was like, oh, why am I here? I even had my camera. I brought my camera with me in my work bag because I was like, oh, I'm just going to take time to take pictures like I would do when I was in Croatia during my lunch break. That was my plan.
Okay.
And then it's just like, I was sitting there and I just knew. I was like, I can't be here anymore. This is just not it. And I remember calling my mom. I was like, Mom, I just don't understand. Like, I want to try to make this work, but I can't. And she's like, well, maybe Croatia wasn't just a break for you. Maybe this was a taste of what your life could be. And I was like, wow. Like,
Mama broke it down.
She
just
did.
Just a few words.
Maybe it's a taste of what your life could be. And, like, that's exactly what she said. I'll never forget those words.
Man.
And, you know, I think that's when it hit me. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to take care of myself. I can't be sad. I can't be not me anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was like the beginning of the end and the beginning. If that makes
Oh my
sense.
God. No, it makes perfect sense. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure someone listening to that story is like, oh my God, that is me. Almost verbatim in terms of how I feel when I walk into work. It almost feels like this toxic environment. And I can feel it. Once it starts affecting you internally and your whole health is just
Oh
shot.
my gosh, yes.
That's when you know. Like, I have the prayer hands right now. Like, that's when you know.
We both have prayer hands right now.
It is time to take a step back.
Oh, yeah.
And reevaluate what is really going on because
I was not healthy.
Yeah.
I remember right before that trip, I was at the doctor's office about to have a scope shoved down my throat so they could see if I had my ulcers, if they were developing or like what stage they were in.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I mean, my grandma looked at me and she's like, you know, you got to take care of you. This is not worth your health. Like, you know what you need to do.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
So,
with all that, you came back from Croatia. You brought your camera with the intent of, you know, I'm going to find my happy place and do some photos during my lunch break.
Yeah.
And then you still felt some sort of like this cloud above you, like this is just not right. I still feel ill.
I felt like it had cleared away, and then I was in that meeting talking about whatever product, and then it was just like the clouds. The darkness was coming, and I was like, no, I'm fighting it. But no, I couldn't fight it.
Oh my God. Yeah, you can't fight. Once it's time for you to leave, the shift, the universe will not allow you to be happy. It'll just it will not make room.
The universe was telling me for a while, and I was like, no, universe, you just don't know.
Yes, like there's hope.
And they're like, no, you don't know.
So funny. So, with all that, how did you finally then begin to plan your exit?
Oh, Nicole, I'm not gonna lie, there was no plan.
There was no exit plan. It was just, I got to go.
My plan was, I'm delivering my resignation letter on January 3rd, whenever I came back. So, okay, Croatia was October. I was gone all through October. So between November and January 3rd, that was like my, all right.
Grace period.
Right,
like,
at that point, I was walking on clouds. I was like, ooh, I'm going to be gone.
Yes,
I'm going to be gone.
They just don't know.
So, I mean, when I think about it, I don't even know if I really knew how to prepare. I knew that, you know, certain things like my health care, you know, I had to transfer that over to David. And then I'm trying to think, like, we didn't really have, like, outside of our house, we didn't have, like, financial debt that I was like concerned about. So we were really like in a good place, and I'll admit, like, I'm very blessed, very fortunate to have been in that position where I could just like wipe my hands clean, you know. And you know, David was supportive the entire time. Like, he was, when I finally told him, I was like, I think I'm ready to go. He was like, I've been telling you this for a whole year. I'm glad you finally listened.
He was like, well, this isn't news to me. I've been telling you this.
Yeah. So I think the biggest aspect of preparing is like getting your head right.
Yeah.
And getting yourself mentally ready. And, you know, being able to, I guess if I look back now and say, okay, what did I do to prepare? I was able to get it in my head that I'm going to have to do this on my own, right? This is going to be about me. I need to take care of me. You know, I need to do the things that are get me in a better, healthy place. So then I can go and strategize and figure out how to be successful and find my path. Because I think that was always been my problem with figuring out what I wanted to do and how I found myself being a project manager when that was not what I wanted to do. I think I always was able to say, you know, oh, I can do that, so let me just go ahead and do it and not worry about it. But I knew I had to be able to face myself and look at myself and really see me for me and who I was. Because at that point, I had no idea who I was. No idea what I wanted. And so being able to mentally prepare yourself to get to know you, that's really what I feel like you need to do to prepare for your exit. In addition to like making sure your finances in order, your health care, blah, 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 right? So being ready to get to know you as a person, because that's a big thing. And I think most people don't want to do that because it requires a lot of work. And it's scary.
To get mentally prepared, or
to actually doing the work of getting to know you as a person.
Oh, yes, because you might be scared of who you find.
Exactly. you have to be able to deal with your own ugly and accept and love your own ugly. And if you can't do that, you are not ready. Exactly. You're not ready to leave yet.
No, not at all.
Because the whole process of like living a more creative life and doing something that brings you joy, you have to be able to commit to that. And if you aren't honest with yourself, you will not be able to find success.
Not at all. Not even a little
You got to deal with your ugly first.
Yeah. It takes that to get down in the gutter.
And we all have ugly, so like let's not be like, oh, I don't have any ugly. We all have ugly.
Yes.
So that, I think that when I look back at it, whether I knew I was doing it or not, I was mentally preparing to do the work.
Yeah, I think we can end the podcast there, really. No, seriously.
Have a good day.
Right. No, I think that is very key in terms of a lot of the topics that I've discussed already in terms of goal planning and finding what it is that you want to do and to be able to go after that. If you do not know yourself internally, if you cannot deal with your ugly, if you don't have, the wherewithal to stop and then just take that breather and understand where you're trying to go, that trajectory, you will not go as far as you think you will.
No.
You will not. And again, much like how, things were not aligned when you came back from Croatia and went back to work, that will also happen in your goal development. It will also happen during your exit plan. If you don't work within, the universe will not allow you to move forward with your next step and whatever that goal is, because you still need to work on you first, basically. That was beautiful. Thank you for that. But what did you receive any opposing feedback? And it sounds like you had a lot of support from your husband, your family, and very close friends. But you mentioned someone had said you were committing career suicide. So how did you deal with opposing feedback?
Well, he didn't matter. He was
It's a he, y'all.
He was a coworker. And sometimes we would go on like walks, like just to get out of the office, right? And so stuff. He was concerned. It was pretty obvious that I wasn't happy, but he told me it was career suicide, and I said, well, who are you? Who are you? And I think that's really what it is. It's like, I learned very quickly, like, when news broke, like, oh, she's leaving, and then my closest coworkers and my closest friends, they knew the truth, because everybody else was like, oh, she's going somewhere else. I'm like, yeah, I'm going somewhere else. And in the back of my mind, I was like, girl, I'm going back to my bedroom. I'm falling to sleep. That's
where I'm going. And what's that saying? Namaste in bed.
But it's like my closest friends and coworkers, I mean, they knew that I was resigning. There was no plan, and I feel like most people, I can't say that they were true naysayers, but I think they were legitimately concerned.
Okay.
Especially my friends from college. It was just, it's not in our character. For us, college was like the struggle. Mm-hmm. And the idea was just, you got to keep going with the struggle. Keep fighting it.
Okay.
And so I think for them, it's just a hard concept to understand. It's like, what? You're just not going to do anything right now? You're just going to, like, figure it out? So they're definitely coming from a place of concern.
Right.
But I think what's important, this is, like, critical here, I think. You have your inner circle, right? You got your closest people that matter. And when you go through something as life-changing as what I did, that circle is going to get smaller.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Oh, yes. Very much so.
So I had my husband, I had my mom, my dad, I had my sister, and really out of all of my friends, I think only one person really got it. You, Nicole.
Oh my gosh.
No, seriously. Like, you really got it. Like, I still have those cards that you gave me.
Oh my gosh.
I still, like, I look at them to this day, and it's like, you got it from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's like, everybody else, it's like, I know their hearts were in the right place, but they didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And I knew at that time, they weren't going to serve me on this particular part of my journey. And that's the thing. It's like, not everybody can be a part of every part of the journey.
Yeah.
People will go in and out. Yeah, exactly. It's okay. I had, at the core, was it 5 people? 5? I'll throw my grandma in there, too.
Right, grandma, too.
Like,
Grandma needs love, too.
You need to go. So, I'll throw grandma in there, too. So, at the core, I had my group of people that I knew who loved me, who knew everything that I was going through, saw all the ugly, and still said, we love and support you. We're going to help you through this, right? And everybody else, it didn't matter. Like, I didn't really care what they thought, because in the end, they weren't serving me through this part of my journey. And I pulled them back in when I needed to, but at the same time, I was able to keep my distance so I could grow and I could do the things that I needed to do to move through it, to get healthy again, and to really just start my life, to start actually living.
Yes.
So that, I think, is the critical part. Find the people that are really there for you and tune out everybody else.
Yes. Oh my God, that's a word right there. That's beautiful. That warmed my heart as well. I'm glad I was in that circle.
Special.
That's beautiful. And something you said in that, between the guy saying it was career suicide, which, I mean, everybody was concerned, and some of the people who didn't necessarily get it. I recently listened to Oprah's Super Soul Conversations.
Oprah, my girl.
Oprah's like the absolute best.
Right.
One of her guests, and it just speaks directly to what you just said, he mentioned, don't let people who don't matter too much matter too much.
It's so true, though.
Oh my God. When I heard that, I was like, oh my God. And what you just said plays right into that.
It's the truth. It's like, I kid you not, like, my best friend, she didn't get it. She did not get it. And I said, you know what? I love her. I know she loves me, but she doesn't need to be a part of the journey right now.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah, we'll pick up on another chapter.
Exactly. We'll turn the the page.
Yes. Yes. I think that's really important. And people shouldn't fear opposing feedback. People shouldn't be fearful of...
If you're going to fear it, you're not going to be able to get up today. Everybody's going to be against you at some point.
Yes. And this also makes me think back to... Because I think what also happens is people fear rejection when they tell them what they really want to achieve in life, and they feel like it's this pie-in-the-sky idea. And it's like, no, if you have planned accurately, you thought through the process, you have found yourself, then fear of rejection shouldn't even be a part of this whole window. It made me think back to our rejection challenge that we did for like a month.
Girl, and I feel like that's one thing I'm actually really good at. I'm good at being rejected. But here's another thing. I feel like the many times when I said something and people were like, oh, you know, they were projecting their stuff.
Their fears, their concerns.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, maybe you would be concerned about this because you've got XYZ going on, but I don't.
Yes.
I don't have those concerns right now.
Yes. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. That is so true. And I think they will basically express their self-doubts on you because they have not been able to achieve a lot of the goals that they have set out. And then, which will then further push them down a hole of not achieving their goals because people just whatever reasons they have.
They're afraid. And what I did was not an easy thing. Like,
no.
I remember my therapist would say this to me, and I definitely believe in therapy. Everybody should get therapy.
Yes, I agree too.
But my therapist would tell me what you did was brave. And in the very beginning, I was like, it's not brave. Like, why are you telling me this? I don't need to be told, oh, you're brave, you're brave. But then, you know, one day it just like clicked. It was like, you know what? I did do something really scary that majority of the people will never, ever, ever do. They'll never walk away from something that's solid and safe. I did something brave. And I totally get why people wanted to project their fears on it because it's something that they probably wouldn't be able to do. And they were concerned. And again, it's coming from a place of love. Yeah. But there's no reason for anybody to project fears for another person. You know?
Yeah, it doesn't work like that.
Accept somebody else's choices and allow them to go off and be brave.
Yes. So there's something I heard in one yoga session where the instructor was basically getting into the flow of her yoga flow. And one of the things she said was, begin to gain access to yourself. I know, right? Just that one little nugget.
Begin to gain access to yourself.
And when she said that, I immediately fell in love with it. And of course, the session was just amazing after that. I mean, before that as well. But when she said that, it just stuck with me. And basically, what you just said in terms of, you know, being able to be true to yourself, not allowing others' fears and concerns to kind of stop you in your tracks, or, you know, weigh the situation in a way that, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. You were basically able to gain access to yourself and channel in what it is that makes me happy and to not allow other people's energies to stop you from doing this.
And I think that's another thing that's so critical about, like, having that small circle of support. Because people will bring that negative energy and you feel it. And when you feel it, it just weighs you down and you're thinking, oh, this isn't possible. And you're like, no, this is somebody else. These aren't my feelings. I feel good about what I'm doing. I'm not going to second guess it. So keeping that circle tight, you know, that's going to help you to stay on the right track and not be dissuaded to do something that you don't want to do.
Correct.
Or dissuaded to do something that you do want to do. Right? Yeah, that's the right way. Y'all know what I'm saying.
Right. I think we get it. We know where he was going. At this point, everybody just nodding their heads, like, listening to this. Like, girl, yes. So everything you said at this point could be totally wrong. So, okay, now we're at this point. How did you feel once you finally left?
Oh my gosh, it was
January 3rd. 2 weeks notice is in and you're home.
Happiest day, but then that's really when the work began.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, now I really have to figure it out. I gotta do some stuff. So, again, my priority, getting healthy. And it actually took me a while to realize, like, I needed to go and see a therapist, but eventually I did.
Were you, like, against it yourself? Did you
feel
like...
No. I wasn't against it. It just, it didn't click on me that I had underlying things that I needed to deal with. I don't want to be dramatic, but the changes that were happening at work, they were pretty traumatic. Like, you were there.
Yes.
You were there towards the tail end of it. But, I mean, it was just drama every day, right? Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of stuff that I needed to deal with emotionally concerning that. Anxiety, a little bit of depression.
Yeah.
You know, when you leave something that was, I'll say all-consuming, because I really was. Like, it was such an important part of me, my career, having a career. Mm-hmm. It was something that, I dreamt of when I was a little girl. Right. I didn't dream about weddings. I was like, I just want to be a businesswoman.
Oh, my gosh.
I want to be the lady in charge.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
corner office and all.
Right. So, when you have those ideas, it's like, when you walk away and you make this big life change, it's like, I kind of killed this dream.
Yeah, it shattered your world.
Right? So I had to get over that and, work through being present, because I became so obsessed and hyper-focused on my career. Like, it's not going the way I want it to go, and how can I make it go the way that I want it to go, and what do I do to change it, and, I feel stuck, and I can't get over this, and blah, blah, blah. So I was so anxious all the time, and just like, I couldn't breathe, I couldn't sleep, I was constantly just thinking about it. And so I had to go through this 8-week meditation program where I was like meditating for like a couple hours every day, and like learning to be present and be with myself. And once I did that, I felt like, okay, now I can kind of figure out what it is that I do like. So she was a godsend. Karen was amazing. She really did help me to get through, that difficult time. And it took me, kid you not, a year and a half. Mm-hmm. And if you had told me back in January, it's going to take you a year and a half to get your head right and like in a good place and feeling good about yourself and having an idea of like what interests you, I would have been like, no way.
Right.
Like,
let me rethink this 2 weeks notice I'm about to put in.
It was like, no.
That was still going to happen.
No, that was going to happen. No, there was no, like, walking back of, I made a mistake. No.
I don't know what voice that was.
That was, I made a mistake voice. So, yeah, I mean, it was just, like, a year and a half of, like, getting to the point, being healthy, being able to, like, even identify, like, what interests me, and then exploring those things, and getting involved, taking some photography classes, and, opening myself up to this idea of there's something bigger and more than what I once wanted.
Yes.
I didn't think I was capable of wanting something bigger than that. Right. And then after the therapy, it's like, wow, my vision of what I want is so much more than anything I could have ever imagined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work I had to put into myself.
Yeah, and for me, and I'm sure you could agree that you are probably also type A. Like, we need everything. Type A. Like, everything is decided on already. Like, this is the plan, this is how it's going to go, this is where we're going to meet, this is what time we're going to do it at. Yeah. And this is what my life is going to turn out to be.
And Nicole, let me just tell you this. I don't want to, like, mess up your interview. But... But, I mean, now I just know, like, I had that checklist of, like, oh, well, I'm going to do this. And then after I achieve that, I'm going to get this. And then after this, I'm going to do this. And I had everything planned. Like, I knew. And then that plan failed me. Mm-hmm. It failed, And even when I did get the thing that I wanted, I realized, ooh, that thing wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
You know? And so I kind of not moved away from goals and planning. Like, I'm still going to be type A. Like, there's still planning and goals in my life.
She's still there.
But I've kind of learned to just let things flow. And as Karen likes to say, to see how life unfolds, right?
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Karen. You know, because it's just like, I think the biggest takeaway from, you know, seeing like everything kind of fall apart is that you can only show up for yourself every day. That's all you can do. That's all you're in control of. Do the right things. Take the right steps to move towards your goal. But you can't control what the universe brings. Right?
Like what you hear? Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Mediocre to Masterful and on Twitter at M2Masterful. And when you check out our website, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter for freebies and information about upcoming podcasts and ways to master your goals.
You have to work within what's in your power, what's in your control, and then surrender and let go and trust that it's going to work out. You can't be so prescriptive of, oh, well, it's going to work out and this is exactly how it's going to unfold.
Right.
No.
Right.
That's not life.
Yeah.
So.
No, life will throw you many curveballs
in
the session, which I don't think that messes up the whole interview process.
I hope not.
Because I think it still serves as long as you have an idea of where you are trying to go.
Yeah.
Don't come into the room and walk in and think, okay, what's going to happen next? Nothing's going to happen next if you don't have an intent. If there's no intention behind what direction you're trying to go, what your goal is or what your plan is, you won't go anywhere. You will just be stagnant and you will stay working at the job that you don't like for forever. But if you don't at least have an idea of, these are the 3 things that I want to be able to achieve, and at least make an attempt to make some small manageable steps. It doesn't have to be a full list, a huge project plan like the ones we presented to different project teams.
You mean you don't have a project plan for your life? I know I did.
But as long as you're able to do that, then I think that still plays into what you're sharing.
It's just, I know I got caught up into it. Like, I did all the right things. Why is it not working out? And it's like, even now, I still find myself, I'm like, girl, slow your roll. Surrender.
Yes.
That's my key right now. Surrender.
Yes. Yeah. So now we're at new beginnings. You're in photography now with your business. Did you immediately begin?
No.
Right after? It sounds like you took some time before you actually found this.
Yeah, you know.
Croatia sounds like it really kind of was like the starting for an idea.
Yeah, I don't even know what sparked the, like, oh, let's take photos. Let me get a camera, you know? Because it's like, I did photography when I was in high school. You know, I always liked it. My grandfather, he gave me, like, even when I was little, he would give us, like, cameras, and I always loved playing with them. But yeah, I don't know why I wasn't drawn to it, and I guess maybe I was, but I didn't allow myself to, like, focus on it, because I was like, nah, you know. I didn't really have hobbies like that. I did things that I enjoyed, but it was more of like, this is going to get me to the college I want to do.
Gotcha.
Go to, you know?
Okay.
I was kind of weird like that. It was just, again, I guess I was just hyper-focused. I knew what I wanted, and...
You didn't allow room for other hobbies.
No.
So it was basically, I know what I want, so everything was kind of just channeled out.
I had tunnel vision.
Yeah,
this is what I want. So yeah, it's like, I didn't have hobbies. I didn't really know how to have hobbies until, like, I learned through therapy. Oh, this is how you get hobbies.
You know, they have workshops.
I'm a weirdo. So, yeah, it was, I started taking some photography classes in that year and a half. And I realized, I really do like it. Let me just have fun with it. And, you know, I was told, it was like, oh, you have a pretty good eye. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Cool. You know, and I just wanted to do more. I wanted to learn more about it. And I guess I was drawn to it. Yeah.
How long did it take for you to realize, okay, this is the direction I'm going to take, and then launch this business as I am a photographer?
I think, because at the time, remember, we were working on Inside Ellipsis.
Yes.
And, like, Ellipsis retreats.
We had a blog, guys.
And a retreat business.
I
still believe in it.
Yeah, I feel like we could pick it back
We're going to bring that back.
Time. Yes.
Circa 2020. Yeah. Yeah, so I was doing that, and I really, really liked it. I think as I was growing as a person and learning to be more authentic with how I lived and the things that I did and the people that I connected with, I wanted to feed that into a blog. I wanted to share that message. So I think my heart was definitely in that realm, the blog retreat space. But at the same time, I was still doing like photography, and like that brought me a lot of joy. And, you know, I've kind of always been this person that wanted to get my hands into everything.
Okay.
And so I think that was always why I was unable to commit to say, like, I want to do this over here, or because I had multi-interests. I've always been like that. And so I think when I decided, or when we said we have to let go of Live This Retreat, big fat tears.
I know.
I think that's when I was like, okay, well, it's time to shift to photography and focus on that full time and see what I can do with that. So that was 2017, I think, was like the year when we said goodbye.
It was a January. It was like January of the new year.
Yeah. So I think I kind of took a couple of months and I was like, yes, photography. So yeah, I think 2017.
I think you're right. I think it was 17 because we were here.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes, we were in this house.
All three was me, you, and Greg. But no, yes. I think we definitely need to pick that up one day soon, though.
I believe. I'm still a believer.
There's still life.
Retreats. Global retreats.
So that's awesome. Basically, you found like, okay, this is who I want to become. This is the hobby that I want to pursue and actually create as a job, as an opportunity for me, and not just as a hobby in a sense.
Yeah, because I had my little, I don't know what inspired me, but I had like my little sheet of paper where I like drew these little like cartoons of like, and I can't draw. I do these like little cartoons and things of like what I wanted in my life, and you know, I had photography on there, and it was like, okay, I guess it really does mean something to me.
That is too cute.
So, but at the same time, I'm like, I still want to have like a separate business, entrepreneurial business. Yes. So I'm like, I still want to have my hands on like everything,
a lot of different things, which I think is fine. I think as long as we're able to manage them, then they'll still be successful. Would you say that your project management experience has kind of played into the planning process of your business?
I mean, yeah, like you said, I'm type A, so I'm like, I know how to be overly structured and utilize my project management skills. And
yes, they come in play.
My PMP, because I'm still maintaining that. I worked too hard to give that up. I did. But yeah, I definitely, especially when it comes to like launching the Etsy thing.
Yes.
I had my project plan, like I knew what I was doing, and I maintained that thing. Yeah, so
still some aspects.
I mean there's planning and everything, and that's what PMP definitely loves to reinforce. Like there's planning in life, and you know, each year I have my New Year planning session of like what I want, what are my goals, who do I want to be at the end of this year, what do I want to achieve. Just
growth within that.
I apply my agile training on there for all of our
here we go.
If we really want to get nerdy
I
have my user stories up on my board.
Moving right along.
I definitely use sticky notes. I'm not gonna lie. I have sticky notes on a wall for planning my 2018. And I'm loving it.
I can sticky note it out. Right now they're hidden, so you don't see them.
But this whole wall is like covered.
They're sitting over there, but yeah, I'm like sticky note.
There's no shame. Oh my gosh, sticky notes are effective.
They are, especially like at my office at work. I have sticky notes everywhere all on my computer. It's ridiculous. But they work. They work for me.
It gives me so much pleasure when I can take a sticky note and then move it to the done side. Yes. I'm like, ooh, I did that. And I look at it, I'm like, ooh, look at all of that. Yes. It's beautiful.
Yes.
You should teach people how to do that, Nicole.
Yes. Coming soon.
Agile your life.
So tell us how you found the creative direction behind your photography style. Because I think you kind of started off with just like friends and maybe nature and traveling, of course, because you and David travel a lot. But how did you find out, okay, this is the direction I want to take with mine?
I feel like it's like an evolving thing. Like, I can't even say like, oh, I found it. Like, I feel like I'm constantly evolving and looking to like say, how does my work really express who I am today? And, you know, I feel like right now I'm going through this like moody, but not in like a dark, sad way, but like just like a moody type thing. So, you know, I'm focusing a lot more on like light and darkness and like shadows and things like that. So that inspires me right now. But yeah, I mean, I love traveling. You know, if I could just live in a little van and road trip across America.
There's a YouTube for that I can share with you.
We just need to get David on board. I'm like, where do I buy it? Where do I buy that master van to renovate? You know, so it's like, I love to travel, and I think travel photography makes sense to me. You know, when I was going through that, learning about myself.
Right.
I would always go on walks. Like, you know, I was always walking in the woods. Like, every morning. So it's just like, there's something about, like, nature, and I just feel at peace. I feel connected with God. Like, I just feel so good when I take my walks. So, yeah, nature makes sense to me. And then now I'm like, I really like taking pictures of people. I'm doing portraits, and, you know, that's something I'm really trying to move into. So yeah, I'm just, honestly, I'm finding what feels good, and I know, who did I steal that from? Yoga with Adrienne. She says that's her theme. Finding what feels good. Yeah. And I think, like I said, it evolves. I'm changing. We all should be changing every day. Yes. So my style should be changing.
And it seems like that would come with the territory of creativity. Creativity, you will always change your process because you're inspired by different things that you see, and it's a flow basically.
And I'm flowing. That's one thing. Type A's, I know we're not good at flowing, but
just let it
I'm
happen.
Learning to flow.
Yes, it's beautiful. It's a good breath of fresh air for sure.
It is. I'm like night and day, a completely different person. Or maybe I think I'm actually more back to being like my childhood self, which is good.
That is good. That's great. I think quite a few people are trying to get back to that, and they're like, how come I can't be as fearless, you know, ambitious, and as big of a dreamer as I used to be as a child? Because as a child, you want to be anything. I could do this, I can do this, I'm going to be this. And it's like you grow up, and it's just life happens, and basically it starts to alter your process because now you have experience in certain things and you can make connections.
You've been jaded.
Just jaded. And then people lose themselves because of life that way.
Yeah. And I found that little girl, and I'm like, I'm holding on.
Hold on, girl. I got you. Now, I would imagine that there are some challenges also being in this creative space. Could you share some of those? Some of the things that come to mind, I'm maybe thinking like knowing your worth or just different things. There's
I mean, there's definitely like the knowing your worth thing, and I think, I don't want to say it's a woman thing, but I think women, we sell ourselves short too often, and I know I do it all the time. I can justify like, well, for this reason and that reason, this is why I can offer you this price here, and it's like, you know, you should be offering more or charging more for it. You know, things like that. And then, you know, questioning yourself. I mean, you know, am I crazy? Imposter syndrome? Like, who am I pretending to be? That kind of thing.
Oh my gosh, I think we are all plagued with imposter syndrome.
Yeah, again, I think it's the women, because men don't mind pretending, like, or overselling themselves.
Yeah. I felt that way plenty of times, especially in our old role. I felt like I'm doing so well, and I'm getting all these accolades, and, you know, people are recognizing the work that I'm doing, but I feel like I shouldn't be here type of feeling. It's like, girl, you are that good. Just accept it. And move forward.
Yeah. I think also sometimes being creative, like that in and of itself is hard. Like sometimes your mind doesn't want to work that way. You're like, okay, maybe today is not the day.
Like writer's block for people who write, basically.
Yeah. So it's like, well, maybe I just need to take a break and have a little non-creative moment over here and do something. Sometimes
like
you need to step away. Yeah, even if it's like a couple hours. I find that, like the other day, I was working on some images and I was like, ugh, I don't like any of these. They are not coming out the way I want them to. So I was able to step away. I was like, I'm just going to let it breathe. And I had no intentions of going back to it later. And then for whatever reason, I felt like I should sit back down on the computer and it's like, I created something so pretty. I was so happy. So yeah, just taking those breaks and struggling creative moments.
But just push through them. Out of all of your work, what is your favorite so far? I know my favorite is the one that you did in Morocco. I just love the images and the boats and the food and the people and the architecture most of all. But what's your favorite?
Those are nice.
Yes, they're really nice.
I like how, like, I don't know, it's going to sound weird when I say it, but, like, the dirtier, and not saying Morocco's dirty, because it's not dirty, but, like, the gruffiness, if that's a word, I always like those things in, like, pictures, like, elements of that. But I honestly think, like, whatever I happen to be working on, or, like, the thing that I finished the most recent is probably, like, the most favorite right now. And I say that only because it's like, I guess it's like the latest expression of myself. So yeah, I did some really cool images that we were kind of perusing when we took a little break earlier, that I did of a girl named Natalia, and we just worked together to come up with this concept. It was a complete creative project, you know, no intention other than let's just make something cool. And yeah, we both came in with like this idea of what we thought we wanted. We had a little Pinterest board going with like collaboration of ideas of like, oh, this is what I like. And then, you know, when it's done, it was like, wow, it was completely different. We missed the mark on what we intended, but it turned out like even better.
Yeah, those photos are just gorgeous. If you guys have not seen it, you'll have to see it on her website. Yes. They are just some of them, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But that photo shoot is just beautiful. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to do another photo shoot.
We should!
I've done so many photo shoots with Nikki. It's ridiculous. And she shot my engagement photos.
I did.
And my wedding photos.
I did.
I trusted her with both of those things.
She did. And this was like really early on when I was like, I'm learning. Yes. But you're here with me, so let's learn together.
Let's learn together. No.
But yeah, we should. We do need to do another photo shoot. We can do something that's like completely like weird and creative and see how it turns out.
I'm down with the weird and creative.
Let's do it. Those are my favorites though. I love that kind of stuff.
Yes. And I love your eye too. Like you have a vision on what you want to shoot, and then it just turns out amazing. I'm like, oh my God. Like we both have this, oh my God, trill that we do when we see
We won't do it for real because it'll hurt your ears.
Yeah, it'll pierce.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you saw me kind of like toned down on what I was saying. Too
that was contained and restrained.
Yes, it was definitely contained.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would break the scale.
Oh my gosh.
The sound scale for
y'all would hate us.
So I guess to, wrap up everything that we just discussed, your story that you share with us, thank you for sharing that. For those with a goal to leave corporate, to enter the creative space, what are some ways that they can stay encouraged?
Well, I think this is really the foundation, and I've been thinking about this for like a couple of days. Like, what do I want to end with? And there's I think 4 important things. First, I think we need to, if you're going to leave, you have to come from a place of joy, meaning go into something that you care about and that you can be passionate about, that you can lose yourself in, because there will be days, and there will be plenty of these days when you're like, why can I do this? Or why am I doing this? I can't do this anymore. Or, maybe I made a mistake. And it's just like, you have to be able to tap into yourself and say, what else would I be doing? Like, what else would I want to do? It's like nothing else brings me more joy and satisfaction and fulfillment than this activity right here. So if you come from that place of joy and you know in your heart that you're being true to yourself, I think you'll be in a good place. So the next thing I think that's important as a foundation if you're going to walk away is you have to find your own positivity. Being positive and being at like a certain high level of energy where you can channel that positivity and tap into it again when those low days come, because they do come.
Yes.
So you need to be your own champion here and be able to recall some mantra, whatever your mantra happens to be in that moment, or tap into, I listen to Oprah, like when I'm feeling a little bit discouraged that day. I'm like, let me just put on some Oprah podcast or whatever, So I tap into those little things that are going to uplift me to power through whatever dark moment that I happen to be experiencing. So I think that's critical. Without joy, without positivity, you are going to struggle, because it is a struggle.
Yes.
And then what I've been doing, really trying to focus on these last two, it's surrender. You kind of have to let go, right? You have to do what's within your power. Show up for yourself every single day. Take care of the tasks at hand. But at the end, you have to trust and let go and breathe and just surrender to the universe or God, or whatever you want to call it. And trust that whatever you're wanting, whatever you're trying to achieve will be fulfilled. And, don't be so hard on yourself and, so focused on it has to turn out this way. Like, this is how it has to unfold. And just trust that it will. And that's all that matters. And then the last thing is gratitude. I think so often we get caught up in ourselves and it's all about me and what I'm trying to achieve, but you have to be grateful for what you already have and the people that are in your life and the work that you're doing already, and for what's to come.
Correct.
So expressing that gratitude and being very intentional about it every single day, I think that it's critical. I feel like that is like the lesson that I've been learning and trying to, really put into practice with my life and my career and, everything that I'm trying to achieve. So, I think those 4 things, I think they're just so important. And I think eventually it will make the difference in my life. I think it'll make the difference in anybody else's life who's trying to do something, that's difficult, that's challenging. So just want to leave with that.
No, that's absolutely beautiful. And I hope, whoever listening was able to write that down. If not, they can rewind it and play that again, because
play it back.
Each 4 of those points really hit home with me. And I think it'll hit home with a lot of people who were listening, and it makes sense. Like, if you don't have those, and I'm sure there's other elements to also include, but if you're just trying to get started and have that, create that shift to come into a place where you are yourself and feel like you are achieving something that you feel completely fulfilled about, then those 4 points will at least help you get started and be able to guide you in the right direction.
Yeah, and trust yourself. That's really like what it comes down to. Trusting yourself that it's all going to be okay. Yes. Because it really will.
It will. In the end, it will be okay. Everything happens for a reason.
And I think that's what we all just need to hear, that, right? It's going to be okay.
It is going to be okay. Awesome. Well, how can people connect with you, find out more about your business?
So you can check out my work on my website at NicoleFink.com. That's Nicole with an H, and I'm sure the other Nicole will have that written out for you.
Yes, I'll have that in the show notes for sure.
Awesome. And then you can follow me on Instagram at Murray-Fink. There is where I post a lot of my adventures and just different projects that I'm working on. So
yes, and you guys will definitely get lost.
I would love to hear from you all.
Well, Nikki, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was Awesome.
Yes, this was a breath of fresh air, and I'm so happy that you were able to do this with me.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to share.
Well, thank you guys for listening.
Bye.
Bye. I can't help it.
Hey there, Mediocre to Masterful is online. Visit mediocretomasterful.com to listen to our podcast or find us on iTunes. Share this episode with those you know in need of motivation. Through our site, you can join our Masterful email list to get freebies and helpful information. We're also on Instagram at Mediocre to Masterful and Twitter at M2Masterful. Thanks for listening.